here we are back again with Doggy Dan. Hi Dan.
Hi.
We've had, as we said in the last video, we were going to cover some specific questions that people had about their dogs, and we've certainly had lots of questions sent in, which is really great.
Good.
So, and I've written a few down here from both from emails
Yep.
and comments that have been put on the site. So perhaps we could just kick off with some questions.
Go for gold.
Okay, right, so we've got a question here from Deb, who says, thanks, very informative. Gee, where to start with our dog? Let her off the lead, suddenly has no ears.
Yeah.
That's the first part.
Sure.
Then choose her way out of the kennel and run, even though it has wire netting. Any
Okay.
advice would be wonderful.
So looking at the first part, the running away, the first thing I'd ask you is, have you got a good recall at home? A lot of people don't even have a good recall at home. The dog kind of comes when they want to. So make sure you've got that right first. And you of course do that by calling your dog and rewarding them with random rewards. Don't show your dog what you're going to give them. Make it random, whether it's a pat, a cuddle, food or toys or play. The second thing is recognizing once your dog is off the leash and it's gone, there's actually nothing you can do. You have to keep some sort of control. So in the videos in the website, you'll see how I use the long line to train a bomb-proof recall, as I call it, by using this long line and keeping control of the dog. That's the real key.
When you're saying the website, you're talking about your product that's coming out.
That's correct.
in videos,
Yeah.
Right.
So there's all sorts of videos on there, but you train it at a level where your dog can handle it. It's no good. A lot of people sort of immediately take their dog to the park where there's hundreds of other dogs, and the dog's 100 yards away, and it's running at full speed, and it can't hear you, and they shout at the dog and say it doesn't come. And that's like expecting your child to be able to swim 100 meters when they haven't even got their 10-meter swimming badge. You've got to take this small steps at a time.
And the small step is at home. Is that what you're saying?
First one is start at home, get it brilliant there, and then you're standing a good chance when you let your dog off the lead. But don't let it off the lead if you don't think it's going to come. And there's loads more tips. For example, if you don't think your dog's going to come, it's best not to call it.
Ah,
Otherwise you stand there shouting, looking like an idiot on the beach. Come here, come here, come here, come here, Rover come, Rover come.
Okay.
You're eroding your own magic. Your dog's starting to ignore you and starting to close down.
Right. Okay.
The second part of the question was about escaping out of the wire.
Choose her way out of the kennel and run, even though they've got wire netting.
If your dog's doing that and you're not at home, then it's almost 99% certain that it's separation anxiety. If that's what's happening, and even if you are home, if the wire mesh, the cage or the run is a long distance from your kennel, your kennel, I mean your house.
Right.
If the kennel or the run's a long way from your house, then what's happening there is the dog is saying we're too far apart, we're separated, and it's all to do with the dog thinking it's the pack leader.
Ah.
That's separation anxiety. Your dog doesn't enjoy practicing escaping through wire meshing. It doesn't enjoy chewing wire. It wants to be back with you because it thinks you're the puppy.
Actually, we've had a few questions about that whole separation anxiety thing. Is there any quick tips on that specifically?
The key is simply becoming the pack leader. And you search separation anxiety, there's all sorts of crazy ideas about what it is and what it isn't and how to sort it out. All you've got to do is become the pack leader. Once you establish the pack leader, your dog won't have a problem.
Right. Okay. And you do go into a lot of detail in your
There's a whole
method, don't
section on pack leader.
you? Yeah. Great. Okay. Great. Okay. Great. Well, I've got a question here from Mary, who says, I have a small dog, 8 months, who has been jumping up on my knee uninvited. I am currently working on stopping that. However, I want to know if it's okay to let her on my knee when I invite her up, or is it a blanket never?
No, it's fine to invite your dog up onto your knee. I mean, let's face it, that's the point a lot of us have dogs, to keep our laps warm, to cuddle, to sit next to and be with on the couch. So you do have to be consistent with dogs though. It's no good letting them jump up on your lap sometimes and then not sometimes. Other times letting them get away with it. So, dogs like consistency, black and white. There's no grey for dogs. Am I allowed to jump on your lap or not whenever I want?
So is it more about you giving it permission?
That's
giving
right.
it an indication
Yep.
that it is okay?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you do that?
Well,
at the start?
you call the dog over to you. If you want the dog to jump up, you call the dog up, and then you can give it pats, cuddles, and affection. But if the dog's just climbing all over you, that's not really allowed. Space is very important to a dog. They understand when they're invading space. The same way as where we've got space between us, it's different if I invade your space, and it's the same for dogs. They know when they're invading space. It's not really It's not really allowed.
Right, so in summary you're saying when you invite it up it's fine, but when you don't invite it up you make sure you let it know it's not fine.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, another question here from Angela. Hi, we have a 12-week-old Rottie pup, I presume it's a Rottweiler, and she is very well behaved but has just started to jump up from behind. My question is, how do we stop her from doing it?
Yeah, I mean, jumping up from behind, the best thing is to turn and walk away. If you look at the dog and invite the dog and without realizing it, put energy into the dog is going to continue jumping up on you. It's no good shouting at the dog and saying, stop jumping, stop jumping. That's when dogs start going, I'm getting your attention, and they'll come more. You'll be amazed if you fold your arms, walk away, how many little pups will get the message. And as they grow up, they just start realizing they get no attention when they just jump up. Turn your back and just walk away.
Okay. So,
and again, the power of becoming the pack leader means all of this will actually work. If you're not the pack leader, none of this works. That's the magic of the method. That the cause of all these problems is that dog thinks they're the pack leader. They think they're in charge. They think they're more important than they really are.
yeah.
And then when you try and give them a message like this, they don't take it. But if you establish yourself as the pack leader first, then it starts to make sense to them and the behaviour will change.
I guess that's what is the magic of your method, is that really you're dealing with one issue, which rather than dealing with individual problems necessarily,
That's right.
you get to the root cause of it, and it's like the whole language is different.
I had a lady ring me up last night. I said, what's the problem? She went, oh, where do I start? Where do I start? I've got every single problem under the sun. And she pretty much did. And even she realised, she said, something's not right. There's something completely wrong at the very base level. And I said, yeah, too right there is.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing all these issues. And if you just try and treat the issues, you just end up with different issues. And a lot of people ring me with that. You know, we used to have a dog like this, and we did this to stop that behaviour, but now we've got this behaviour, so we did this, and we built the fence higher and started digging instead of trying to jump it, and so it goes on. You have to treat the cause of the problem.
Great. Okay. Another question here from Olivia. Looks great. Any advice on stopping our dog barking in the car?
Barking on the car it's really, the reason it's happening is it's sensory overload is usually the sort of cause of it, in effect. The dog is too excited. And also what we don't recognise is the dogs are often stressed as well. If your dog is stressed and too excited, it's just too much for them. And it's about being able to calm them down, which I go through in the site, how to calm your dog down before you get in the car.
Right, okay.
And again, when the dog thinks it's the pack leader, it's a stressful place for a dog to be. In the car with all these different things which it doesn't really understand. You have to calm the dog down and show you're in charge, there's no need to bark at that, and then you can show your dog how to behave. But see if you can calm your dog down. Do some walking on the lead before you put the dog in the car.
Okay.
You know, the worst thing to do is hype your dog up, shout we're going for, you know, walkies or whatever, and then let the dog charge out into the car, jump in, slam the boot down with it already barking before you've even started the engine. And I've got an example of exactly this on the website, barking in the car, where the dog is barking before the boot's even closed.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to stop barking when you close the boot. So again, it's one step at a time. You've got to sort the barking out before the boot's closed, which is what we do. Then we close the boot, and the dog's still quiet.
Cool. Okay. Righty, well, there are just a few questions. Thanks very much for that.
It's a pleasure.
I hope everyone's getting a bit of a taste for what you're all about, really, and what your method is. And obviously, it seems to me that if you get the right information, that can save you just a vast amount of time. And you must see that all the time. People are frustrated, some of them probably for years. And
Absolutely.
And just one little bit of information is all they need.
I had a lovely lady the other day. She'd been working for months and months and months trying to desensitize a dog to other dogs. And within 3 days of putting this method in place, she walked past another dog and said that my dog didn't react.
Amazing.
And she said, I don't think it was coincidence. I know it wasn't. That's just how it works.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks very much, Dan. I hope
Thank you.
everyone found this useful. Talk to you next time.